did not learned men too hold, till within the last 25 years, that a flying dragon was an impossible monster? And do we not now know that there are hundreds of them, found fossils up and down the world? People call them pterodactyls, but that is only because they are ashamed to call them flying dragons, after denying so long that flying dragons could exist. Where did dragons originate from? It is a good question, and one that we do not believe has a definitive answer. However, we do have some suggestions. Dragons appear in mythology across the globe. Nearly every country has dragon stories. Such a widespread myth must have some kind of creation or backstory, surely. One of the main theories is derived from the discovery of dinosaur bones, particularly during the 1600s, when historians began to make such discoveries. One of the most notable was from Englishman Robert Plot, who found a huge bone that he believed to be the thigh bone of a giant. There happily came to Oxford while I was writing of this, a living elephant to be shown publicly at the ACT Anne 1676 with those bones. I compared ours and found those of the elephant not only of a different shape but also incomparably different to ours, though the beasts were very young and not half grown. If then they are neither the bones of horses, oxen nor elephants, as I am strongly persuaded they are not, it remains that, notwithstanding their extravagant magnitude, they must have been the bones of men or women, nor doth anything hinder but they may have been so, provided it be clearly made out that there have been men and women of proportionable stature in all ages of the world, down even to our own days. The bone turned out to be a leg bone from the Megalosaurus bucklandi, a predator from the Jurassic and early Cretaceous period. In Austria 1335, a huge skull was found in a gravel pit near Klagenfurt. It was believed to be the skull from an old legend of a water dragon that brought floods to the town. The skull was displayed in the town hall for many years and is now in a museum there. In 1590, they created a lindworm statue for the capital Corinthia, based on the skull. It represents a dragon that spouts water. During the 1800s, the skull was identified as that of an Ice Age woolly rhinoceros. Another famous dragon skeleton was the work of Dr. Albert Koch. He exhibited a sea dragon skeleton in New York, 1845. The 35-meter creature consisted of a large skull complete with teeth and a long snake-like body. He called the creature a hydrargos, suggesting it was a bloodthirsty monarch of the waters, until he was called out by a professor, Jeffries Weinman, who spotted the skeleton was made up from several different species of animal, mostly whales. History is littered with stories such as these, all of which were either cases of mistaken identity or hoaxes. Going back even further in time to the 1st century CE and to the site of the Himalayas, where we find a traveller, Apollonius of Tyana. He notes that the whole area was full of dragons. He claimed to have seen many dragon skulls. Roll forward in time and it is believed he had found fossils from a crocodile-type dinosaur mixed in with those of an extinct elephant. Around 484 BCE, a Greek philosopher called Herodotus wrote about seeing bones from winged serpents whilst in Arabia. It is assumed that what he saw were the fossilized bones of pterosaurs. Again, these type of stories are found across history and the globe. Many ancient myths and ancient stories contain tales of dragon-like beasts. In the Hindu Vedas, we find the Vidra, a shoulderless being, a snake-like creature. I will tell the heroic deeds of Indra, those which the wielder of the thunderbolt first accomplished. He slew the dragon and released the waters. He split open the bellies of the mountain. He slew the dragon who lay upon the mountain. Tavistra fashioned the roaring thunderbolt for him. Like lowing cows, the waters have flowed straight down to the ocean. Indra, when you killed the firstborn of dragons and overcame the deluding lures of Wily, at that very moment you brought the sun forth, heaven and dawn. The cosmic goddess, Tiamat from the Babylonian epic of creation, is said to have created a whole host of monsters to attack the gods. It is also suggested that she herself is in the form of a monstrous serpent. In Egyptian mythology, a serpent, Apophis, attacks the boat of the sun god Ra and is slashed into pieces, only to rise again the next night. Presumably, the beast is the night or dark in opposition to Ra and his light. The Psalms include mention of dragons too, as in Psalm 74, "You divided the sea by your strength. You broke the heads of the sea serpents in the waters." Interestingly, depending on the version of the Bible you look at, the word serpents is sometimes replaced with monster or dragon. In fact, dragons are mentioned several times in the Bible. Mostly it seems in reference to Satan or the devil. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. Of course, no self-respecting Greek myth would be without the mention of a dragon or a drakon, which covers all kinds of serpents, snakes, and dragon-type creatures. We find serpent-like dracones, watery Krita, fire-breathing chimera, and the draconi. During the 3rd and 4th centuries, Roman and Byzantine cavalry units carried a Draco, a military standard. This standard was a dragon-shaped windsock type affair made from fabric with a metal head designed to catch the wind and move like a serpent. Germanic and Scandinavian tales do not escape the clutches of dragon mania either. Scandinavian mythology includes the world serpent, for instance. Chieftains and kings rode in large longships, or dragon ships, that bore carved dragon heads on the bow. His dragon with her sails of blue, all bright and brilliant to the view. Another suggestion is that people have mistaken giant reptiles for dragons. Somewhere along the line, humans developed a fear and even hatred of reptiles. We also have a tendency to exaggerate. Are some of the dragon stories formed from someone seeing a particularly large crocodile and embellishing their story? There are a plethora of stories relating to the sighting of giant reptiles, huge crocodiles, giant lizards, and the like. A most fascinating job title of cryptozoologist exists. It is someone who studies mysterious animals, those believed to be extinct or not, and those creatures unknown to modern science. Dragons fall under this category. Cryptozoology turns up a myriad of sightings and experiences with creatures that would be classified as dragons. I am not just talking about folk stories and tales of old, but modern day happenings across the globe, from giant serpents and sea creatures to flying winged dragons. There is also a fear of the unknown, and we believe this comes into play when looking at the depths of the oceans, those deep dark areas of the sea that are so vast and far down they have never been investigated. We naturally fear deep water. It is a part of our DNA to do so. Is this perhaps another home for water dragons, hidden from the prying eyes of humans? There is certainly a good amount of information that supports dragons' love of water. In some cases, the dragon is used as a symbol for darkness in the form of plague, storms, or floods. Dragons also appear in several creation stories, relating them to the cosmos. Once Christianity took hold, the dragon does appear to have been used as a symbol for evil works, or the devil in some form. We could continue on and in more depth with the history of dragons in mythology and folklore. It is a huge subject, but that is for another video. The question as to the origin of dragons has not been answered here, and I doubt you will find it anywhere, to be honest. Is the source derived from finding dinosaur bones? Possibly. Or perhaps it is the dragon being used as a collective description for man's own fears. We still carry a fight or flight response in our subconscious to this day, and perhaps that is at least in part a reason for creating the idea of a dragon beast. Or maybe, just maybe, and this is our belief, dragons are, and always have been, real. You can learn far more about dragons and their magic with our book, Dragon Magic by Rachel Patterson, who also provided the words for this video. It's available right now from Moon Books. Thank you so much for watching. A special thanks to our members. You too can become a member by hitting that join button. Subscribe for weekly content, ring the bell, and we'll see you next time.